Hello everyone, my name is Rhodri Thomas and I am a dentist, as you might have guessed, from the UK. I just wanted to say thank you to the AACD for inviting me along to do this talk for you. And we're going to cover a few different kind of topics today as well. So the most of the talk will be based around aesthetic dentistry and some different principles within that, and more specifically, how that's kind of connected to nature, our biggest inspiration. The one little thing I'm going to say just at the start of this talk is sometimes when you have these talks about aesthetics, it can get a little bit egotistical, showing off our best work and things like that. I didn't want that to be like this. I wanted you guys to really see more of the creativity and passion I have for the job more than anything else. So there won't be anything too complex shown, but hopefully some interesting things for you to see. What is aesthetic dentistry? To me, I would define that as creating beauty by recreating nature, because nothing is ever quite as good as nature. And it'll be a career-long journey for all of us to kind of strive towards this perfection. And we're never going to reach it, but that's fine, because it's going to be quite fulfilling along the way, seeing how we can recreate nature. So I'm just going to throw up a photo right now for you to have a look at. Somewhere within this photo, there is an element of dentistry that has been carried out. It could be a single tooth, it could be more. And I'm just going to let you have a little moment to look at the screen and consider what this could have been. And now I will reveal the answer. So this is the same patient about 30 seconds earlier. It was a complete denture. So you can see this kind of hyper-realistic way we can look at our jobs. The prosthodontics behind it all is what I find to be kind of truly fulfilling. And here's the denture kind of extra-orally, so you can see it in all of its glory. And it would be a huge thank you to my technician, who I give kind of 90% of the credit to on a case like this. And we'll come into that later on. Here's another case, just for you to have a little glance over. Somewhere here is hiding a resin restoration. This could be a class 5, this could be a class 4, but take a little moment just to have a look and consider where it could be. And the answer is here. So you can see actually the majority of the tooth has been built up in resin. And just to show you halfway through, this is where we were. So this is the case we're going to look at later on, which is a kind of a specialist artistic layering technique to really emulate all of the delicate nuances that we find in nature. And one last one would be, again, there's another resin restoration here. Somewhere, could be on one tooth or could be more, but you might be on to me by now. And I'll reveal it here. So this is another case we'll look at, and it's just using resin in a way that we're paying attention to kind of the closer details as well. So whether it's just the colors that we're using or the surface textures, the tertiary anatomy, and really considering how the light's going to play with the teeth and really get that natural result. So what is the inspiration behind all of this? As I've alluded to, the inspiration is nature. And studying nature is a huge part of our jobs. A weird thing that I like to do just during a normal clinical exam is I will really study the two front teeth of every patient that I have, and really look at the different nuances, colors, intricate details they have on the incisal edges. Because when we look at those things, then we can truly start to understand how we're going to replicate them or communicate with our technician, how we want him to replicate things or her. So that's one of the biggest giveaways from today, will be studying nature and how best we can go about that. Obviously, one of the main ways we can do that is with dental photography. And you'll see a lot of macro photography here today. And that is one of the best ways we can go home outside of the clinical setting and have a little look at everything, look back on our work, see what we did really well, what we could work on, and then most importantly, study all the things we want to be recreating in the future. So here, this is a lady that came in. She was 65 years old, and I said, "You've got a beautiful tooth here. I'd love to take a photo." So this was just in a normal clinical exam, but you can see some of the beautiful things that we have here. The kind of delicate chroma up towards the gingival level, and then we can see it start to fade into these slight kind of white hyperplastic spots, and that lovely kind of blue incisal finish and a halo across the incisal edge as well. So just highlighting those, you can see as we move down the tooth, all of these subtle things that we really want to replicate rather than something that's going to be too monoshade and stick out. And here's just a final list for you to look at all of the certain things that we can be looking for. And that's just a small list. It could be much more exhaustive than that as well.